Oh, my nose. Ugh. Hi, Firewife. Oh, girl. I woke up congested. Ugh. Aaron. I put my headphones on. Hold on, y'all. I had, hi, Pinky. I can't find my socks. Ugh. Hmm. No, 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 no. Somebody's playing like a ghetto version of Do Your Ears Hang Low? Do your ears hang low? Oh. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Okay. Oh, goodness. I'm putting my shoes on. Hold on, y'all.
Hey,
Hi.
I'm all the way down here in the corner.
I know. You're in timeout.
I'm actually working right now.
Oh.
I had to go shopping, but I don't like these kind of orders. But I
Oh
can't complain.
no.
I can't
Is
complain
it
though.
like one of is it one of like the red card ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to like go grocery shopping for someone, but I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
paid like almost
Mm-hmm.
$22 for like 3 miles
Oh, that ain't bad.
for like 30 some items, but some of them were like duplicates, like 3 of this, 4 of this, 10 bananas, 2 milks.
Oh yeah.
So be a little bit easier.
Ugh.
It's so yucky here today.
Is it rainy?
It was. Now it's just humid and hot and sticky.
It's really hot here. Ugh. Like it's uncomfortably hot. You need to be in a pool.
Yeah. Oh, God damn. Sun, go away. I just
Ugh.
can't wait for fall.
I
Fall
know.
and spring are my favorite.
I hope it's not like a super hot fall.
I know. Because I want to wear my hoodies. I love
Thank
my
you.
hoodies.
I worked out.
What's everybody doing? Do 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 do. Sorry. Oh, thanks, JoJo. Hi, Kathy.
Okay. Hairy legs.
My legs are hairy as yours. I think we should compete. And it takes forever. And if you don't have a good enough razor, you nick yourself and like all over. And there's just so many good things.
Oh, I know.
You know, all of the things,
Mm-hmm.
as someone would say, all of the things.
Like you can read
Like it,
reviews, like people put reviews on there for like the rose and stuff like that and vibrators.
um, you know, there's things I would review, and then there's things that no, I would not. No,
Right?
like there's just some things we don't do.
I think some of them were jokes, but then some of them did not seem like they were jokes at all. I'm like, holy, what the heck? Why would you
Hey,
put that on there?
this is actually kind of nice, like because you know how a treadmill has like a back thing, like where it says like your time, your heart rate, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. Y'all want to go to Reddit? And let's see some. What should I look up?
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
Hi, Tabby. Tabby. Let's see if I can find something. I don't know. I have an account on here, y'all. So what should we do? What should we look up? Don't worry, be happy. It's nice right there. Oh, what's this? This is, oh, y'all remember Taste of Chaos? Tabby, you remember? Sarah, the one I told y'all about? You know, my two of my friends that come in here all the time. One's like Gen X Virgo Queen, that's Marie. And then there's one, and then her husband's name is Corey. They come in here. Um, they used to mod for Sarah too. And you remember that she's the one that I gave like 2,000 over time. They gave her almost like 5,000. Sarah's the Taste of Chaos. You remember her, Tabby? The one that's like she claims to be polyamorous, and then um, they have all those kids, but that whole mess. Yeah, that one. That one. They have. I follow their snark page. Not, I don't know. I guess it's called a snark page, whatever, on Reddit. I'm not really like. I know Reddit, but I don't know Reddit. If that makes any sense. Yeah, cry to your mom. Her. Yeah. Okay, so we should. I'm gonna read some of these. Let's see. Let's see. Where do we even begin? Like, where do we even begin? Well, one, she never wears a bra, and she says it's because she has her, you know what's pierced. That doesn't stop you from wearing a bra.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. Have some, you know, especially if you're going to your kid's school. It's her own TikTok account and went viral? Question mark. Let's be very clear. TikTok's terms of service require users to be at least 13 years old to even have an account, let alone one that posts public content and goes viral. So unless that account is run by a parent and clearly labeled as such, this is a blatant violation of COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and it puts her child at risk. Sarah has spent months talking about protecting her kids and keeping minors safe, yet here we are with her own underage child. Yep. Let's see. Somebody put remember why I don't watch her anymore. Do people really still entertain this? Somebody put her foot is swelling too. And then that person said, I must have missed that. Woof. Okay, so yesterday, apparently, Marie sent me this picture. Marie texted me and sent me a picture of Sarah, and she was walking around her house in a bathing suit. And somebody put, walking around in a swimsuit? Gross. And somebody put, ew. And then somebody put, I tapped out. I just can't watch that.
I think somebody said in the comments they haven't heard the gummy bear one.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me look it up. Hold on. You said I bet they have it on Reddit. Hold on.
I think
Let's
Pinky
see.
said I haven't seen that.
Gummy bear review.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Oh, here it is. Haribo. Is it Haribo or is the H silent?
I don't know.
Haribo. I think it's Haribo. Okay, so here are some of the comments. So obviously diabetics, sometimes I'm sure they like to eat candy, right? But a lot of times it has so much sugar, people have to do the sugar-free option. Well, sugar-free has a certain ingredient in it that will make you poop your pants if you eat too much of it. And here are a few of those reviews. So here we go. So this is Jeffrey Lambert. Hell holds no surprises for me anymore. This is a cautionary tale, and unlike most of the other reviews on this product, this is a true story, and its authenticity can be qualified by a small news item that appeared in the Toronto Star's local news section during the month of April in 2013. Much to my chagrin, I can't say that right, I would consider myself a prudent man, not given to bouts of outspokenness or craving attention, and certainly not one to rock the boat. On any given day, I can be found reading a crime novel on a park bench in the middle of the city, soaking in the opulence of nature while nibbling on my tuna fish sandwiches and fending off, this is a little awkward, sir, sandwiches and fending off the voracious, he has a very big vocabulary, voracious gulls and squirrels that threaten to spoil my repose. This is me, law-abiding and introspective, which is why it came as a shock to me to find myself incarcerated because of the devil's confectionery, Satan's sweetmeat, Lucifer's lozenges, the horror that is known as Haribo sugar-free gummy bears. I'll set the scene. It was late winter, early spring in Toronto, and the city had just been digging itself out from a late season snowstorm. I was heading to Pearson International Airport for a red-eye flight to Amsterdam in order to give the Dutch arm of our company some training on the new software. Go to the next page. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. That had been installed. I'm deliberately being vague to prevent my place of work from being linked in any way to the incident that occurred. I had just finished packing, checked the time, and found I was running late. My flight was at 7:10 p.m., and it was now almost 5. Were being heard by others. I briskly checked my watch and decided that I'd had enough time to grab a quick snack before going through the baggage check. Let's see here. And would get something more substantial once I checked through security. I spotted a vending machine in a relatively low traffic corner of the terminal and rushed over, already pulling out my credit card and mentally assessing what I had a craving for, so as to save time interacting with the machine. My eyes scanned the colorful array of confection quickly, coming to rest on a tantalizing rainbow-colored bag of gummy bears with a simple white and red logo Haribo emblazoned across the bag and what appeared to be a slightly tweaked Helvetica rounded. Hold on, next page. Helvetica rounded font. I'd like to pause here in the story for a moment to underscore the importance of making proper choices. I was hungry. When you're hungry, you should eat food. Food is defined as a nutritious substance that people consume to maintain life. This is what food is. These days, the definition of the word food and the meaning has been broadened to include variability, any material that can be digested. Oh, Lord. Or rather, chewed and swallowed without causing death or severe illness. Haribo sugar-free gummy bears are not food. They aren't even from this planet. I imagine their origins being conceived in a boardroom in hell by a top team of creative pain administrators with senior-level demons rubbing their hands together in ghoulish delight as hell's chief chemist slowly lifts the veil on their new creation. The point here being, I made a very, very, very poor choice. I pushed the button, and the vending machine ejected the brightly colored bag into my awaiting hands. I had always liked gummy bears. They were bright but rather innocuous. They weren't overly sweet, so as to become cloying, and of course, each candy came in the visage of a rather happy, docile bear, reminiscent of the picture one's mind eye holds of all anthropomorphic. This guy talks too much. Bears from Yogi to Winnie. The way I figured it, I was taking a bit of a holiday from life so I could relax my fastidiously regimented daily schedule a little to allow for some frivolity. After all, I was going to be in Amsterdam come morning with 16 hours to kill before I had to be training with the Dutch employees. Y'all, he talks so much. Maybe I would take a trip down to one of the coffee shops in the red light district and really let my hair down. No, I wouldn't do that. I would see that area of the city from the bus. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, I lost my place. ADD, real bad. Let me see. I joined the queue in the KLM line, which was mercifully short, most likely because all the passengers for my flight had already been checked in. Let's see. I checked my watch again, frowned, and absent-mindedly opened the bag of Haribo sugar-free gummy bears, began to munch on them as lines slowly advanced. To be fair, they tasted fine, just like colorful candy, and they were sugar-free to boot. This is what made the whole incident that followed so baffling. If they had tasted off or different, I most likely wouldn't have continued to shovel them into my mouth absent-mindedly while daydreaming about what I would order to eat from room service in my hotel in Amsterdam. As I gave the attendant a ticket and she weighed my bags, the first of the pains began in my stomach. Uh-oh. I thought nothing of it at first, chalking it up to the fact that I needed something more substantial than gummy worms to tackle my hunger. But over the course of the next 5 minutes, the shooting pain began to come in more rapid succession. At that point, I had my boarding pass printed and rubbing my stomach a little. I proceeded to security. I briefly entertained the thought of trying to find a restroom before going through security, but at that point, my discomfort was manageable. I'm on Reddit and I'm reading the horror. It's called The Horror That Is Haribo Sugar-Free Gummy Bears. I didn't pay much heed as going through security always caused me great anxiety, and I chalked it up to be pre-flight jitters. It was only as I stood face to face with the agent and handed her my passport and ticket that I had a glimpse of the agony that was about to begin. It felt like time rippled for a moment, as if my consciousness buckled, so intense was the pain that fired through my bowels. I grimaced spastically and emitted a low moan and felt myself take an involuntary step sideways. Stars shot through my head briefly, and my vision blurred, and then snapped back into focus. The agent was staring at me with slight consternation and asked me if I was all right. I pulled myself together, stood up straight. Hold on, gotta turn the page. Or click the arrow. Stood up straight and declared that I was fine, mortified that I had had a lapse of decorum not only in public, but at the security clearance in an airport. As I fumbled off my belt to go through the metal detector, my pain in my stomach increased, and I practically had to sit on the floor to take my shoes off, terrified of what would happen. Oh no. Terrified what would happen if I bent at the middle to do it. It was becoming increasingly more evident to me, oh no, that it wasn't just a stomach ache. No, this was something much worse. As a child, I had a bout of diarrhea after a trip to Mexico with my family. I remember the feeling of nausea that swept through me before my child self had surrendered to the gas pains and parked myself on the toilet for an hour, crapping until I felt like I didn't have any bones left. And this is how I was feeling now, with several key differences. The pain was worse. The sense of an impending bowel movement was so formidable it gave me temporary amnesia. And it took all of my willpower, all of it, to clench my butt cheeks together to prevent my sphincter from exploding. A sudden shock of pain racked my body, and I wondered if I was going to give birth to a Tasmanian devil. The crazy fever-induced image of a said cartoon animal chasing Bugs Bunny through the splashy volcanic poop kettle that was my stomach caused me to elicit a short, maniacal bark of laughter as I approached the metal detector. A wild, distant look in my eyes, sweat now beginning to pour off my head like a long-distance runner in Kenya. The security agent, hold on, y'all. The security agent on the other side of the detector shot a quick glance over to her coworker, who narrowed his eyes and made a subtle movement towards his holster. My breathing became uneven as I entered the metal detector, and I realized the alarm. What was it? And I realized with alarm that I had taken off my socks without even registering it, and one of my shirt tails was untucked at the front. I held my breath, my eyes bulging dangerously from my head as the machine scanned me. As I shakily moved forward towards the agent for a pat down, my stomach began to elicit sounds that can only be described as otherworldly. It started off with a sort of bubbling sound heard from afar and grew in pitch and intensity at an alarming rate. My jaw dropped in shock as what I can only describe as the sound of an agonized wailing alley cat in heat with a persistent Doppler effect added to its voice, emitted from some nether region of my intestines. What does it say? Hold on. Oh, the officer's eyes widened in alarm, and she kept her eyes glued to my stomach as she thoroughly patted me down. As she reached my shins, I felt my innards suddenly expand and plummet towards my rectum. With cat-like reflexes, I squeezed my sphincter shut with what seemed like nanoseconds to spare, and I knew that if I didn't get to the bathroom immediately, I would poop myself. With a Herculean of effort and all of the strength that I could muster, I forced my butt cheeks together, knowing that one false move would open the floodgates. I began to walk like a duck, trying to remain as inconspicuous as possible, not even caring. Hold on, I gotta turn the page. Not even caring what other people were seeing in front of them. A disheveled, barefoot, 40-year-old businessman, red-faced and bulgy-eyed, sweating profusely, shaking slightly, and walking without bending his knees. With single-minded intensity, I grabbed my carry-on shoes and socks from out of the plastic tub that had passed the x-ray inspection, and without putting anything back on, I turned on my heels with the intention of finding the nearest restroom and slowly dying there one squirt at a time. But that's not what happened. I turned to go and found myself staring at three armed agents who stopped me and asked if I would follow them. I said, "Why, what's the matter?" I stammered, wincing slightly as the act of speech seemed to strain the tenuous and extremely fragile trust or truce I had negotiated between my bowels and the tempest that raged within. "I have to go to the bathroom right now," I pleaded. "Just follow us, please." They said, "No leaving." They said, leaving no room for argument. The other travelers, clearing the security check, stared with curiosity and revulsion at the spectacle unfolding before them, whispering amongst themselves and hurrying to pack up their belongings and get as far away from me as possible, no doubt assuming that the airport had nabbed some sort of domestic terrorist. If I hadn't been feverishly trying to hold back the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, I likely would have died of shame. But each step I took towards the room that they ushered me into, I felt my legs would give way. I marveled at how strong the human will could be, marveled at what was essentially patching a hole in the Hoover Dam with bubble gum could actually be sustained indefinitely. Maybe I would make it through the ordeal after all. The room that they brought me into was an examination room. I had pretty much stopped registering details of my environment as my consciousness closed off. Oh, excuse me. Closed off, but the absolutely necessary functions, breathing abilities, and the ability to walk. But I snapped back to reality when I heard the snap of rubber. The slow dawning of realization poked through my agony and stoic resolve as I turned to face an agent donning rubber gloves. "Sir, we are going to perform a cavity search on you," a young, fresh-faced agent stated in a firm but emotionless voice. His short-cropped blonde hair was immaculate, and for a crazy moment, I wondered if he was an actor and this was all some sort of elaborate practical joke done to amuse bored kids watching YouTube. He must have taken my tortured silence for resistance, because he looked at me sharply and said, "Lower your pants and underwear, please," and face the desk. Panic started to grip me in its icy grasp, and the sudden adrenaline threatened to destroy my sphincters, bulwarks, and rend my anus in two. I inhaled sharply, and with a pained gasp, I doubled up my efforts to clench my cheeks together. "Sir, please," I begged, deferring to this kid in an act of desperation. "I have to go to the bathroom. You could follow me to the stall if you need to, but I had some Haribo sugar-free gummy bears." And now I feel like that they had stopped listening and smirked at each other. Two of the other agents, a tall, dark-haired female and a shorter, balding fat man, looked away from me, and I could see them shaking a little as they stifled their laughs. "Sir, face the wall. Put your hands on the desk and spread your cheeks," the young agent stated, a lopsided grin on his face. But I began to protest, and then a fresh shock of pain forced me to stop and lean on the table for support as an ungodly howling rose from my stomach, something between the dying moans of a woolly mammoth and the sound of bubble wrap popping underwater. I exhaled shakily, and my focus began to narrow as I rallied for the final battle. Shaking uncontrollably, sweat literally raining down on the tabletop in front of me, I turned to face the wall and heard a meek, childlike voice pleading from somewhere in the room. "Please," it said then again, "please." From somewhere within me, my mind recognized this sound had issued from me, although my consciousness had begun to separate from my body, and I held my breath and prayed to God for strength. Oh dear. I felt like, oh no. Let's see. I'm going to go to the end. Hold on. With a sound like a large plastic ketchup bottle being run over by a Mack truck, my sphincter released. The pressure of the blast pushed me hard into the desk, and the legs of the desk screeched as they scraped across the floor. My body remained as rigid for a moment and I experienced a relief that only can be described as orgasmic in its purity. My eyes rolled in the back of my head, my tongue rolled out of my head like a dog, and I emitted a low, sustained groan that grew in a pitch as filthy as the torrent pushed its way out of my body. Tremors racked my body, and I must have looked like a fish out of water. An elephant. My colon felt like someone had poured chili sauce all over it, and then sent it in a colony of fire ants to eat it. Oh my gosh. That was nasty. Well, that was disgusting. Y'all, that took 27 minutes to read. No, I don't know if it was that long, but. Yeah, that probably sounds good. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later.